Welcome all of you. I am very happy to present before you one of our beloved team member, Anu Joshi. Anu has been part of iLearn for the last 3 years. This year, she has proven her mettle by clearing UPSC examination with 264th rank. Welcome Anu Joshi.
Thank you, sir.
Anu did her post-graduation in English studies from IIT Madras. She passed it with first rank and she decided to pursue civil service examinations. After completing her masters, she started her UPSC journey. She gave an attempt in 2015 without much preparation immediately after the college. It was in 2016 that she has given her first proper attempt, but she couldn't clear prelims in that attempt. But in 2017, she cleared prelims, mains, as well as she attended interview. But she couldn't clear or get into rank list at that time also. Even after not getting into service in 2017, she continued her preparation. During that period, she was also part of iLearn, taking classes over here, mentoring students. And finally, this year, she has again shown us that it is consistency, it is hard work that finally prove at last. Anu Joshi.
Thank you, Shinask.
Okay, it's actually with very pleasure that I am interviewing you because I believe it was back in 2017 that we met for the very first time.
Yes.
Anu actually came to us during the interview guidance program, and you know that all the aspirants will be coming up with a DAF or detailed application form. So Anu's DAF or detailed application form was very interesting. By that period, she has actually completed 3 books. She has actually published 3 books. So that, even though I have been mentoring students for interview for many times and I have seen many DAF, that was the very first time I have seen somebody who has written 3 books or published 3 books. Okay, so I will ask about that itself. So poetry was your hobby, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you took poetry as a hobby from your school time itself, or is it during your college times?
No, sir. Actually, I started writing poems from when I was 6 or 7 years old. So it's a hobby from my childhood. And my first book came while I was in school, towards the end of my 11th standard.
Okay.
So, and that hobby has also helped me in the UPSC journey.
Okay, so see, having a hobby is something of importance for every aspirant because that actually shown you how well-rounded a person you are, right?
Yes, yes.
So your hobby, that is writing poetry, do you think that it has actually contributed in your UPSC journey, or how has it has contributed?
Sir, I think it has contributed basically in 2 ways. Firstly, this UPSC journey, for me at least, has been a long one. So, there were ups and downs in this journey. So, many times when I was stressed or when I was upset at the repeated failures, writing poetry kind of was a catharsis for me. Like, it helped me
to
vent out my feelings and to find balance, to find emotional stability. Also, for the UPSC interview, it really helped because both the times there were questions on writing poetry and what inspired me to start writing poetry and all. So that in that way also it really helped.
It actually shows the importance of having or pursuing a good hobby and keeping track of your hobby when it comes to UPSC preparation. Now let's move to the initial stages of her journey. So in her second attempt, a proper second attempt, that was in 2017, she has cleared prelims, mains, and she has went to the interview. But you lost that, right? I mean,
yes.
Okay. So see, as someone who has actually gone through that journey, I know that it is not that easy to take defeat. So how did you take that defeat in 2017?
It was honestly very difficult because that was my 3rd attempt. And it was my first interview. So for the first time when we get the interview call, we'll be very hopeful. We'll think that okay, this time we'll get, because we are so close to our goal, a part of us will hope that even if we don't get, let's say, the premier service like IAS or IFS, somewhere in the list our name will come. That hope will be there. So when the final results came and I was going through the PDF and my name was not there, I felt really bad. It was really very I don't know. I was kind of in a state of shock because immediately I didn't feel sad, But over the rest of
After
the
some
day,
time, it start
it sinks
sinking
in. It sinks in because it takes a lot of hard work to get till the interview stage, and then your name is not there. So that was very difficult. And the next prelims was in around 30 or 31 days. So I had very less time. So in the hope that I will be clearing that time, I hadn't really prepared for prelims. So I took one day. So after the results came and I didn't clear, I took a day off. That day, that full day was very down. I spent some time crying and everything. After that, the next 30 days I studied hard for the 2018 prelims.
Okay, then what happened in 2018 prelims?
In 2018 prelims, I failed the prelims with a margin of 1 mark.
1 mark, okay.
1 mark short of general cutoff.
Okay. Then, but again, so you faced two crises very
Yes.
immediately, right?
Yes.
Like you lost the interview, then immediately you lost the prelims.
Yes.
So at that point, do you think that, okay, now I will think about something else other than UPSC?
No, not really. I mean, I felt very, dejected kind of, but not with the UPSC. I felt that the world was going against me, or like the God hates me, or universe is against me. That kind of thought was there, but I never felt that let me give up on UPSC, because that thought never came. Because UPSC has been my dream from when I was 10 years old, and I had taken this career choice after a lot of thought. So I knew that my direction was correct, and I was sure of my destination. But I was feeling that the world is going against me. That feeling came.
Okay, then how did you overcome that two crises? I mean, how did you focus your energy back in studies?
In studies. So firstly, like I previously said, I was very clear on why I wanted to be a civil servant. Even though this is mostly might be perceived as an interview answer, my genuine motivation was to actually do something good for the society. I feel that if we want to do something good for the society, at an individual scale, we can do small things, like we can help, we can just be a nice person. But if we want to make big changes, we also should have the position and the power to make big changes. Now in my college days, I had already tried to start an NGO, and that didn't happen because they had a lot of there was a lot of process, and they even told me that I had to register something as my NGO's headquarters, and at that point I didn't have I was not earning, I didn't have a property, so that was not possible. So I had given up on that. And the next option is politics, and I don't come from a political background, and at my age I knew that entering politics will be more difficult. And because I was already good in academics from my school time, I thought, okay, UPSC is my way, because ultimately it's an exam. You're studying and you're clearing an exam and you will get through. So I had identified this way. So because I had this motivation, this thought that this is what I want to do, that thought itself was an inner motivation. Secondly, my friends really helped, and after coming to iLearn, that also really helped, because everybody who was a friend here and my colleagues, they're all UPSC aspirants, and they have all been successful. Some of them have been successful, some of them have failed. So seeing them and talking to them, it's like it really helped me. Having that, because feeling that you're not alone, there are other people with you. That really helped. And then my parents were also there. They were very supportive. They didn't pressure me to get married or anything, and they kind of always protected me like a shield. So they also helped.
Okay. So when it comes to your preparation, some of the mistakes that normally students make is that they focus too much on the prelims initially.
Yes.
They don't write properly answers, etc. So have you made such mistakes initially, focusing too much on prelims?
Yes. So that is a very common mistake, and I whoever is watching this, I would recommend the students to not make this mistake, because we get very short-sighted. Many times we feel that we somehow have to clear prelims, but the truth is no one is going to gift us anything or give us an award if we clear the prelims. We have to clear the interview. So that vision has to be there. And
so that longer picture has to be
there. Yes, it has to be there. And in order to get there are some skills that we need to develop. Firstly, if you are a person who's underconfident when it comes to speaking, or if you have stage fright, develop your speaking skills. That is something, we cannot do that in a 2-month period after the mains result. But if you're starting from the beginning, especially practicing English and all, it will help. It will reduce the tension. Secondly, for mains, essay writing is very important. Many times what happens is students, especially those from engineering background, they have difficulty writing long essays. So for them, they should practice the essay from the beginning. We cannot develop this.
They might have the idea, but they'll find it difficulty in getting into the paper, right?
Yes, because I was working as a mentor here, and I have seen these students. In my own students, I have identified these problems. So that's what I was telling. Then in mains also, we need to structure the answers, And many times what I feel is out of the 20 questions in every paper that we get, we'll be knowing maybe 11 or 12 questions. The rest 8 questions will be UPSC surprise for us, surprise gift for us. So that there we have to write answers with the knowledge that we have for the questions we don't actually know. So that skill also has to be developed, how to quickly think, how to come up with points, and how to present it in a nice way. So these skills you cannot develop overnight. So from the day one of your preparation, we have to keep that long vision and then prepare accordingly.
Then one of the important aspects throughout the journey is to identify an optional subject
Yes.
which will actually be scoring to you, and at the same time actually I mean doesn't bore you also.
Exactly.
Okay, so you took sociology as optional, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did sociology help in your preparation?
So sociology, firstly I chose sociology because even though I've done my masters in English studies, mine was a very interdisciplinary course. So as a part of that course, I had courses on Indian society, and I had also done a project on transgenders. So when I did that, I realized that Indian society is a very interesting thing to study from an academic perspective. And when we are working, ultimately as civil servants, we'll be working mostly in the Indian society, in most services. So having knowledge about Indian society will definitely help. So that is the reason I chose sociology, and of course it is a good subject. I mean, good optional. The success rate is also more in that. My strategy was I read very limited books. I've not read many. I would recommend people to read more books. I mean, just because I did exactly. I mean, just because I didn't read them doesn't mean you don't have to read them. Please read them. I read Nitin Sangwan. Then I had my own sociology optional notes. I read those. Then I referred because some of the because I wrote in Kerala, and here there are other popular teachers, so I referred their notes also, so that I am not at a disadvantage. Then that was it. And then I attended sociology test series, and I also looked at previous year question papers. I all the main books such as Giddens or Haralambus or Ram Ahuja, I have read only selectively. I have not read the entire book. I just, whichever chapters I found that I was lacking in, only those chapters selectively I studied, not the whole book.
It is again very interesting to see that someone who has guided you is actually clearing along with you.
Yes.
For example, Deepu has actually cleared.
Yes.
So Deepu has actually mentored her with regard to her
Yes.
sociology optional, and Deepu has cleared this time also. So what was that interactions with Deepu?
I was so happy when I saw his name in the list. And Deepu and Sibyl, both of them from Ireland, they both have really helped me. And especially Deepu. Deepu helped me not only at the main stage, he helped me for the interview also. Because there's a set of sociology questions they ask in the interview. So we both sat together, and he contributed more, to be really honest. He's much better at sociology than me. So we sat down and discussed those questions, and he told me how to, like, what are the different answers we can, how can we make our answer more, give it more dimensions. In mains also, we took previous year questions, and he actually told me. So my perspectives were limited, because my understanding of sociology was not very deep. But because he has more experience than me, he's senior to me, and he's also teaching sociology, so he is much more erudite when it comes in sociology. So he sat me down, and we used to both solve the questions, and obviously my answers will not be as good as his. So he would tell me, Anu, think like this, isn't this angle something that can be written in the answer, and that kind of really helped. And in current affairs also, this time sociology paper 2 had a lot of GS kind of questions, like demonetization and forest fire and everything. So there, both Deepu and Sibyl, they have developed this how to apply sociology in current affairs, that kind of thing. So I had listened to some of their discussion, and that also really helped.
Through this journey,
Yes.
the third step, the final step is obviously the interview, right?
Yes.
And see, interview is actually not an interview per se, but it is more of a personality test.
Yes.
So in 2017, you had your first interview.
Yes.
Then this is your second interview.
Yes.
So how do you compare those two interviews?
Second interview was much better, I feel, because first time I was very nervous, and this time I was better prepared, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. I mean, you really helped me. I mean, I don't know where you found the patience to sit with me and look at all those nuances. we had so many one-on-ones. He actually spared a lot of time for me and took a lot of one-on-one interviews. And that really helped. I mean, more than mock interviews also helped. Even the Ireland mock interview helped. But when we sit for one-on-one with the same teacher and they repeatedly see us, I think they can identify how we are progressing or what is our progress from the last time that we met them. And in that way, you really helped me. And even I remember you called me up on the eve of my interview also, and even on that night, you gave me some very valuable tips for the next day. So that was very good. Thank you, sir.
So, once the result was announced, and when you took that sacred PDF,
yes,
and when you searched the name,
yes,
and when you found it finally,
yes.
so what was the feeling? Was it more of a happy, or is it finally it's done? So what was your feeling?
So Arun S. Nair is there, no? He got
Yes.
rank 55. We both had this interview on the same day, and we had the same board, and we became friends. So when I was looking at the PDF, first I didn't type out my name, okay? I was scrolling it, and his name was there in the first page until 50th rank. And then I'm scrolling, and my name is not there. So I thought, oh my God, this is 2017 again. like a deja vu. Then I didn't have my heart was beating too fast, so I didn't have the courage to keep scrolling. So finally I searched my name, and my name was there. It was such a relief, more than happiness, because it's been 5 years. I felt relief. I felt okay. Oh my God, thank you.
Done with the journey.
Yes, I felt very relieved. Very
Okay.
relieved.
There are many people actually who contribute to our journey
Yes.
or success. And obviously the role of the parents is something very important.
Yes.
Because the first time when I remember Anu is that Anu came to us for the interview, and Anu came with her father at that time. So I could still remember her father staying back all the time, because it was somewhere in the time I think it was 8 in the night, and we started having the discussions, and the one-on-one was going on, and we had the DAF analysis initially,
Yes.
I think. So Anu's father was right outside waiting for her for the entire session. Then after that he came in and we had a discussion also. So, and many times I have seen how he and her mother has actually supported in the journey. So what is the role played by your parents?
It was, they have really been a big part of my journey. Obviously, I think for most aspirants it would be the case. If my dad would get me anything, like if I tell him I need this for my UPSC, I don't know, he might even climb Mount Everest to find that one book for me. So in that sense, getting all these materials, and every time he would go to Delhi as a part of his job, he'd go to that UPSC area and then hunt books for me and find it, and he himself will pick whatever books he like and he'll bring for me. So that he has helped me a lot in my preparation. And my mother also, emotionally she supported me a lot. And more than this material support,
I think more than the material support,
it is the
emotional
emotion,
support,
yes,
right?
because
And also they haven't pressured you to get married.
exactly,
Also, right?
exactly. Coming to that, so the thing is, just like by the time we give our third attempt, people will start asking questions like, oh, you didn't clear, still didn't clear, and how come you still writing this? I mean, last time we saw you were writing, this time also you are writing. That kind of questions will come to us naturally, and this will come to them also. So when we are failing, I think after us the people, or maybe even more than us, they will be feeling that pain. So to not even show us that disappointment, and to constantly show us that they still believe in us, it really helps us to believe in ourselves also. So that was there. And then my dad, every time, because I've failed multiple times, when I would my name won't be there in the list, and my dad would be like, it's okay, you take one more year, you study, it's okay. And sometimes the relatives will talk about marriage, and sometimes they will also, my parents will also be like, okay, should we ask her to get married? And then they will come and they'll be like, maybe we should get married, you're getting old, blah blah blah. So I will tell them, please, I want to pursue my dream. So one sentence, that is enough, I want to pursue my dream. And then my dad will be like, okay, let her do.
So one thing that I have observed among many of the successful candidates who has taken more time, maybe 3 attempts or 4 attempts or 5 attempts, is the fact that the parents had the belief in them. So they had the belief in them, and that belief has actually finally paid off also.
Yes.
Then I would like to ask one more question, that is with respect to your studies. The fact that, you took language as one of the, as your graduation and post-graduation
Yes.
studies. But you went to a technical institute,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So why did you study? What made you to choose IIT Madras to study for English studies?
So there are two reasons for that. Firstly, my father is an alumni of IIT Madras. So when I was young, he had taken me there. So I had seen the whole campus.
Gajaraja Circle and
And there are the deers are there,
deers
monkeys are there. So and the campus is very beautiful. It's a forest. So I really liked it.
Definitely, that's a fact because
Yeah.
I have also gone to IIT Delhi during my graduation, which made me to start a thing about, okay, I should also looking into some other institute, which actually made me to do my PG also. IIT Madras is a very beautiful campus, which
Yes.
actually makes us to go over there and study, or
Yes.
go again and again and study again over there.
So that was there. And then I wanted to graduate from my father's college. That sentiments was also there. But along with this, I feel that as I said before, my course was very interdisciplinary. We even had ethics as a subject. So when I looked at the syllabus of IIT Madras, the course in the IIT Madras and the UPSC syllabus, I found a lot of overlap. So I thought my graduation, whatever I'm studying for graduation, will also help me in my UPSC.
So from the school time onwards, that your vision was finally
Yes.
to reach this particular point, right?
Yes.
Actually, having the longer vision makes us to sustain our journey. There can be many motivations, many support system, etc. But if you don't have that belief in yourself, I don't think we'll not be able to reach our destination.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is your advice to the fellow aspirants?
My advice is, many of you will be writing it for the first time. So for them, I would say, give your best this year itself. With every attempt, it gets more and more difficult because you have to convince yourself, you have to convince others, you have to find that motivation. So try your best to clear this. For those who are writing it multiple times like me, I want to tell you that try to see life in the larger picture. Ultimately, this is only an exam. So this is what I feel after clearing this. I feel that I stress myself too much. I put too much expectations on myself. There have been phases when I felt really low. And ultimately, this is only an exam. It is not about clearing UPSC or not clearing UPSC that makes you successful or a failure. It is about how much justice you do to your preparation and how much justice you do to your own dream. If you studied really hard, if you gave your 100%, and unfortunately you didn't clear, because I will tell you, UPSC has a lot of luck factor in it. And unfortunately you didn't clear. In my eyes, you're still a success, and in your eyes also, you should be a success. But let's say you didn't study, let's say you only used 60% of your potential and you failed. Or say you used 60% of your potential but you got extremely lucky and you cleared. In that case, I would say you're still a failure because you have not done justice to yourself. So think about doing justice to yourself, justice to your dream, justice to your passion, and if not this, something good will happen to you. But I wish that, because I know that for many of us this is a big dream. So I hope that this dream, your dream gets fulfilled, and all the best.
So you remind me of one dialogue.
Okay.
Will Smith talks about in The Pursuit of Happiness. So Will Smith actually talks to his son,
Yes.
saying that if you have a dream, you have to protect it.
Yes.
So she had a dream, she protected it, and she made it through. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.